The Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. It's time to go one-on-one with DP. Coming at you live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios. Here is your host, Derek Pearson. Presented by Beatrice Bakery on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Buckle up. It's all good. The fastest hour in radio, sponsored by Allo. Delivery drivers, internet, I like them fast. I'm talking kind of fast that delivers equal upload and download speeds, buffer-free streaming, and lag-free gaming. Switch to Allo for 500 meg, 1 gigabyte speed options for free installations. Always call Allo today in Lincoln. For residential, call 402-480-6560. Or for business, call 480-6500 or chat with them online at Allo Fiber. On the Starter Heyman text line, get to it, 402-464-5685, Honda Lincoln Hotline. And on the Honda of Lincoln Hotline is my dude, and I'm so looking forward to this. Rico, hit this man's music.
Order hands over to Merrill. Tie ball game, 15 seconds. They're setting up for Merrill for a final shot. Tie ball game, chance to win the conference championship. Sam Merrill against Fagan. 7 seconds, 6 seconds, 5 seconds. Sam rises for three. Yes! You've got to be kidding me. Sam, I am. Merrill, straightaway three. 2.5 seconds left in the game. Sam Merrill is a freaking stud. You cannot believe the distance that Sam hit that shot from. 3 feet behind the line. Sam Merrill, the greatest Aggie to ever don a uniform at Utah State.
I love that so much, man. It brings me great joy. He's got too many titles now. He's got too many titles. He's the man. He's the voice of Utah State University Aggie football and basketball, director of operations, vice president. He may be king of the world by now. Who knows? But he is my friend, and I want to bring in Scott Gerard. Scotty, how you doing, brother?
DP, always a pleasure, my man. How are you?
This is good times. It is the thing. Scotty's the dude that whenever he comes to mind, I smile because Scotty has like the biggest smile ever. And it's just one of my favorite dudes back in radio days in Salt Lake City. Scotty knows my journey. He knows a lot of the bumps and bruises along the way. But I know his, and I'm proud of him. And this is one of, for listeners that don't know. So Scotty and I would ride or die. We would spend, along with our other friend Everett Gray, who the folks here know because he comes on once a week.
Yep.
But Everett, we did a Saturday show in Salt Lake City, and Scotty was my producer for several shows in several different universes. So Scotty knows where all the bones are buried. And, you know, from time to time, we would get together and go hang out with Hootie, you know, just because.
The Hootie and the Blowfish story will never get old because there's no way I thought you ever knew the dudes from Hootie. And you're like, I do. I'm like, no, you don't. No, you're just making that stuff up. And sure enough, we're backstage hanging out with Hootie and the Blowfish before you knew it. And I'm like, damn, DP was right. I know these cats.
It's so funny.
This day blew me away.
Yeah. Right. Like a great night too. That was a fun night.
Yeah.
We had a great time. I mean, Hootie in Utah. It has its own. Okay, so several things in play, but the thing that gets you on the air today is this 80s comedy bracket that you put together, and the top of my head blew off because then I had to figure out. Not only did you came up with 64 movies, but you had to come up with seedings for said 64 movies. And of course, just like the NCAA, you have to march out and defend and justify the seedings. Because
okay. And that's fine. You know, I'm happy to do it. I'm also happy to deflect too, because, you know, in radio, you know, the rule, never, ever, you know, always deflect.
Right.
You make a bad prediction or something like that. Oh, well, this happened or this happened. So I will be deflecting quite a bit in terms of the seeding process on this, because It all started with just kind of a weird conversation. Hans Olsen, former BYU Cougar, played with the Colts for a while. He's my co-host, incredible radio talent. And we're both dudes in our early 40s, latchkey kids that grew up watching a lot of movies.
Right.
And so we start shooting the bull about, I don't even know how we got on the topic, but, favorite 80s comedies. And all of a sudden we started getting tweets rolling in. So we started throwing out some tweets and asking people. And that's kind of how we put our seed list together, was based on the response of listeners. Like, oh, well, if you had a number one overall movie, 80s comedy movie, what would it be? What would your number one seeds be? And then it just kind of built out from there. And so, sure, when we got down the list a little bit, we added some, but a lot of us are listeners. And then, I don't know if you know this, but we got, our station was purchased by Bonneville. So they have a huge infrastructure in place. And before we knew it, by the end of the day, we had a bracket up on our website. We had all kinds of stuff going on, and it turned into a full-fledged competition now with first round voting going on as we speak.
It's like you and I are cut from that same cloth, in that we find great humor in small things, right? Like we get sidetracked, and then once we're down the loophole, there's no way that we can possibly get out. But here's this. So just for the listeners now, Scotty, I love you. I love you. And you also know that when I start a statement with that, something really interesting.
The heat's coming.
Right, is to follow.
Let's go.
But kind sir, you have back to school, bachelor party, stir crazy as 14 and 15 seeds. I do, that's like Wisconsin being Scotty, bruh, work with me here.
Hey,
really? You put Teen Wolf as the last in.
Okay. Teen Wolf. All right, come on. Teen Wolf wasn't that great. Have you seen it recently? It hasn't held up very well. Come on. I will give you Stir Crazy, and I will. I understand. Back to School, highly underrated. Absolutely, 100%. I will give you that. That one slipped through the cracks a little bit.
Weird Science at 44. Weird Science, just for Kelly LeBrock, it has to be a top seed.
Okay, so here's the question then. This is what the committee's got to ask themselves. Who are you knocking out? So if these are so, if you want to move up Weird Science, then who out of those top three seeds are being pushed down?
First of all, the Burbs is way too high.
Oh, okay. You shut your mouth. We might be The Burbs is so good.
The Burbs
is actually held up all right too. Glow Pack, come on. I mean, that's too good right there.
Strange Brew as a 6 seed.
Take off, my brother's drunk. No, yeah.
That's a 6, bro. That's not even close. The fact that look, I do want to give the committee credit, because there are some inclusions here that required high level expertise. 3 o'clock high, yep, as a grab, and then Bachelor Party. Young Tom Hanks, you guys excel. This was exceptional. I have to give you full credit. 16 Candles as a 57 seed. No, it was on this weekend, and that's a top 4 ranking. They're in the top 15.
Well, and I will say this: the committee was really torn on that, because is it really classified as comedy? And so we weren't quite sure on that one. That's why it got bumped down a little bit, because it may. That and Breakfast Club, I don't know if they necessarily qualify as comedies. And so we really had a hard time trying to figure out what to do with those two.
Did you laugh?
And then we figured, okay, well, let's just get them in the field, and then we'll let the voters decide. That's all you need. It's like the old adage, all you need is a chip and a chair. So let's get them in the field, and then let the voters figure out what to do with them. Did
you laugh in the movie? Did you laugh a lot?
Oh yeah. And so that's kind of why we said, yeah. And at the end of the day, in the Breakfast Club, you still laugh. So we're gonna count it as a comedy. So let's go.
So through all of that, and again, I have to give you full credit, because You put trading places in. You went and got summer rental. I understood what you were trying to do there. Stripes as the 33 seed. Stripes.
Yeah, no. I understand that one. The committee screwed up on that one. I'm not going to be like the dude from the NCAA that will die on every hill. I will admit we really screwed that one up. Stripes needed to be a top 2 or 3 seed.
It was fantastic. We're talking to Scott Gerard, Golden Pipes, the play-by-play voice of the Utah State Aggies football and basketball director. What is your official title in the building when you put your suit and tie on? What
Program director, VP. You know, that's a company that if you're around long enough, they're like, well, crap, we can't give them more money, so let's just give them a title. And so,
see, that's how I love your maturity now, because it's like, this is what it is now. This is not new anymore. We don't have to placate any more of this. Major League at 13, below Goonies and Spaceballs, please.
No. Hey, again, that one was again, as a man who's going to be reflecting, that one was more due to the votes received by our listeners. I would have had Major League probably. I love Major League. I probably has as a number 1 seed, bumping out Airplane, because I love Airplane, but I don't know if it's a number 1 seed. So I probably put Major League as my 1 seed. The rest of our voters had them as a 3 seed. So I anticipate that they'll make it very far in this tournament. Airplane, I think, is probably on route of what happened to Kentucky or Iowa yesterday.
Yep.
So I think things will kind of work its way out there. Yes.
Here were the 4 number 1 seeds in ascending order. Airplane at number 4, Fletch at number 3, Caddyshack at 2, and Ferris Bueller's Day Off at 1. The number 2s, Better Off Dead, which, again, throwing away a perfectly good white boy, is one of the great movie lines ever. Better Off Dead, Christmas Vacation, Three Amigos, Hefe, just to say Hefe, and then Ghostbusters as the highest seed of the 2 seeds. I think you would catch some flack for Better Off Dead. It is a cult classic, but as a 2 seed, Scott Gerard, come on, that's a little high, right?
Hey, look, everybody wants their $2, man. I'm just giving the audience what they want. I'm just here to deliver. Yeah, come on. That is the most quotable movie out of maybe the whole bunch.
Well,
I want my $2. French fries,
French dressing. This is why we're best friends, because literally we have the same childish sense of humor, and we've never grown up from it ever. Listen, I want to talk to you about March Madness. You're in the game, you're around the game. How do you think this plays out?
I think it's going to continue to be turned upside down too. I mean, there's so much talent in college basketball, and look, I called an NIT game the other day. Utah State got bounced by Oregon, and Oregon has not had a record-wise a very good season this year. And then I look at the 2 teams when they came to midcourt, and I see Utah State, who is not overly talented this year. This was one of their particularly good years. And I look at Oregon, and I'm like, oh my goodness, these 2 teams do not look even remotely close to each other. Oregon was big, strong, they were talented, and they were athletic, and they ended up running Utah State off the court. And I think that same thing, but again, for whatever reason, the regular season did not treat them well. There's going to be some teams because of one and dones and the transfer portal. The talent across college basketball is more distributed across the country. The blue bloods aren't as loaded as they normally are, and you've got really good teams. Now, like, how many of us had to Google who the hell St. Peter's was after that game yesterday?
Yeah, we didn't know where they were. We didn't even know where they were.
No, and so, but I think that's what's one of the byproducts of the transfer portal and everything else that's going on in college basketball right now and college athletics is the fact that you're seeing more options for these student athletes, so they can go different places. The NBA is always going to find you. I mean, Ja Morant, You look at where all these kids are playing these days, and they're still able to go out there and be successful and be drafted high, so they don't need to go to a blue blood. And so you're going to see these upsets because kids can go wherever they want. They've got more power. They've got more ability to go different places, stay close to home, and it's been fun to watch.
So Nebraska is I mean, they're the only, of the 6 that have never won an NCAA tournament game. And people can make every excuse about location and culture and all those things, but Utah State doesn't have that problem. So if you can get folks of that level to, well, my goodness, I don't want to slight Logan, Utah, but my goodness gracious, it's Logan, Utah. If you can get people to the farms of Logan, Utah, you can get people to Lincoln, Nebraska, who can win NCAA tournament games. What's been the secret? Utah State has been relevant when it comes to this stuff and being able to come in, be a factor, get to the tournament, be a factor, and then be a threat, quite frankly. What is it about Utah State that's allowing them to do that and produce the Jordan Loves in football and the basketball players who can go and do work in the league?
Okay, first off, I take great exception because we just got an Olive Garden in Logan now. So there's a lot of good things going on. Big time.
And you're going to be ruined forever. The purity of Logan, Utah is now going to be affected. It will not be.
So, there's an In-N-Out on its way, a Raising Cane. So it's a growing metropolis of Logan, Utah. So let's, you bring up a really good point. And I think this is, when you go to certain places, you've got to hit on hires. And Utah State knows who they are. They've always hired coaches that know who they are. They know that they're not going to get 4 stars. Frankly, they're not going to get a lot of 3 stars. But what you have to do is you have to project and you have to develop. You have to take a kid that's 17 years old. You got to say, okay, what is his body going to look like in 2 or 3 years? And what are we going to be able to do to develop him? You've got to have great development staff. You've got to be able to use, and frankly, and this, I mean, I know, in Nebraska, it might not be a common, knowledge, but the missionary program really works in the favor of a lot of these Utah kids.
Mm-hmm.
They're able to go away for 2 years. They come back, they're older, they're more mature, they're a little bit more focused. And that works in their advantage as well. I mean, these are good, mature kids that don't get distracted by a lot of things that a lot of other college kids get distracted. So it keeps them a little bit more out of trouble. In some cases, not in a lot of cases, but and it works in their favor. So Utah State's a unique place. Utah and BYU are also unique places. And if you hit on good coaches and you make smart hires and you invest in your program, then you have a chance to be successful.
Scotty, you're around these coaches. Like, you host coaches shows, you're around the programs you travel with, you get to see all these things. Choosing the right coach is important, and it's said often, but I'm not sure from 10,000 feet, do people really understand what that means? So from your up close vantage, what would be a right choice? What makes a coach the right person in those situations where you're not a blue blood basketball program?
Well, I mean, I look at what Utah State's done in terms of their hires. I mean, they've had, their football team just won a Mountain West title. They beat Oregon State in a bowl game with a first-year head coach. And, Craig Smith, who was an assistant there at Nebraska with Tim Miles, he comes and wins, goes to 3 consecutive NCAA tournaments. And essentially what they're looked for, and I've talked to John Artwell, the athletic director, many times about this. He goes, I want a dude with a chip on his shoulder. At Utah State, we recruit kids that have chips on their shoulder. They've been overlooked by Utah. They've been overlooked by BYU. They've been overlooked by a lot of people. So they're going to be a little angry. They're going to have a little, I don't know if I can say this in Nebraska, piss and vinegar, but they're going to be a little ticked off.
Yep.
And you want a coach that has that same kind of vibe, that may have been overlooked or may have been, slighted in some sense of the way. And you want somebody that's just ticked off of the world, and you go out there and find him and give him his opportunity and say, all right, we're going to give you some chances to be successful. Go out there and get it done. Find the athletes that want to come to Logan, Utah, and they'll be successful. And it's hit. More often than not, it's hit. And it's been really fun to watch. I don't know. Look, that's why these search firms make a lot of money. This is why athletic directors make a lot of money. That is the single most important thing you can do as an athletic director, is hire good coaches. because they're going to be the ones that are going to be on the recruiting trail. They're going to be the ones bringing the athletes in. And if you miss on a coach, it sets your program back years. If you hit on them, you'll be golden for decades. And so it's just such a critical part. And I know in Nebraska, they're fighting like crazy to try to right that ship, but it's difficult to do.
We're talking to Scott Gerard, play-by-play voice for Utah State, football and basketball. Again, he's a big boss there in radio, and a dear friend. For football, that the Aggies there have. First of all, I have to ask you, because Rico and I, my producer, we were talking about. We're trying to figure what is the actual definition of an Aggie.
Well, that's a great question. It's a hell, I don't know. I really don't know.
DP said it was an agriculturalist, and I said it was a cowboy.
It is. Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's a, farmer. I think, okay, all right, here's the thing. I think the term Aggie composes a lot of things because it's a land grant college. That's why Texas A&M, Aggies, Colorado State used to be Aggies. That's why there's a bunch of them. It's an agricultural-based school originally. And, so a farmer / rancher / anybody involved in agriculture, I think that's what it falls under. But don't quote me on that. I have no idea what the hell it means.
Yeah,
so I'm going to go with that.
I'm quoting you on it.
We're definitely quoting you on it because it's fantastic. Because and again, for anybody that's ever been to Logan, Utah, it's a farm town. Like that's part of the first thing you learn as you get through that. So Rico has been my producer for a couple of months. Now he's been at the station. He's been at the station longer than I have. But he's been a producer for a couple of months, and he's learning several things. I'm going to give him the greatest gift I can give him, which is to allow him to ask you any question about me that he wants to ask.
Oh.
Because Scotty knows.
You always do this to me. You never prepare me.
Well, I don't want you to.
Hey, Rico.
Yeah.
Let me just give you the best advice because, DP puts on a really great persona on the air, and he's always happy and laughing and he's having a good time. But every now and then he'd get a little salty at me and I'd screw up something or something like that. And he'd look at me like that side-eyed look and and you're like, oh, crap, I'm getting the death glare. So here's the thing. This is what I'd always do. If I ever did anything wrong or if I ever made a mistake, I would find a little MC Hammer pumps and a bump and I would fire that up. And then he would completely forget. Like he gets distracted by good music.
So
if I did something dumb, I'd just be like, oh, well, hey, pumps in a boat, and then and then he starts dancing, and then he forgets everything.
We actually have that as a rejoin, so that's perfect. Yeah, no, the music thing, it really works, and I know the exact death glare you're talking about. It actually happens like maybe twice a day. I don't really know what I'm doing.
Yeah. He's got an attention span of a hummingbird. So it's really easy to get him distracted and get him off going in a different direction.
That is true.
You're okay.
That is so true.
Oh, my goodness. Scott Gerard, man, I love you so much. Thank you for doing this. It is so good. We got to do it more often to have you pop on, bro. You make my day. You make me smile. You are heaven sent. I appreciate you.
Hey, and again, the voters will figure out the seating. Everything's going to be fine. We'll I know the seating may not have been great, but the voters will decide, and I'll let you know who ends up winning this thing.
Thank you, kind sir. Listen, man, have a great day. Love you to pieces. That's Scott Gerard, Utah State voice and friend. Appreciate you, brother. We'll throw it to break. We come back. We'll get into a little Gonzaga versus Nebraska. Scotty's good dude.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store. You're listening to One-on-One with DP on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
Shopping for insurance can be a tedious and frustrating task, but the agents at Brokers Insurance Agency will do the work for you. They have partnered with over 20 of the best insurance carriers in the nation, which allows them to do the shopping all for you. Whether you're looking for business insurance or employee benefits for your company, or you're looking to save money on your home and auto insurance, Brokers Insurance Agency has the agents and solutions to help meet your goals. Call 402-420-5353 or email staff at brokersinsurancene.com.
Can you believe all the empty car lots in Lincoln? How can they survive? Well, they are surviving by charging way too much and making you believe there are no cars available. Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto. I'm here to tell you that they are full of bull stuffing. Come out to Price Right in Westo and you'll find over 100 great vehicles at some great prices. We won't let you get a lemon since we back every one of our vehicles with our Peace of Mind 3-month warranty. If you want a hassle-free car buying experience, check out our website, PriceRightAuto.com. Come see a great selection of affordable used cars on Westo Street at Price Right Auto.
Alla knows businesses need reliable communication, both at the office and at home. Now more than ever. Just listen to Bill Mitchner from Lighthouse.
Before we'd have breaks in service, especially for internet, but we've never had any issues with Allo. It's always been there and available when we needed it.
At Allo, supporting your business is our business. To get your free quote and switch today, visit allofiber.com/workfast or call 402-480-6685 today.
From selling a home to even building one, you're doing a lot and need a lender who can help you do it. Like Kelsey Fluhop of Security First Bank.
As a mortgage loan officer, I value my customers and work to make the mortgage process easy and even rewarding.
Mortgage lending from Security First Bank. We're the bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 505011 and 1730635.
The Home Builders Association of Lincoln and Bombers Garage are proud to sponsor this year's Cruisin' for the Trades car show on May 1st. It's the first major car show of the season, and they have 20 plus big trophies for muscle cars, old cars, classics, trucks and bikes, EVs, and anything in between. Register your car today at hbal.org and enter into as many categories as you wish for the show at SCC's campus at 88th and O. Proceeds from the event go to the Lincoln Home Builders Care Foundation to support careers in construction. Register today at hbal.org.
Hey, Steve. Welcome to Great Clips.
Great Clips asks, what's the difference between good and great?
Come on back and have a seat.
Good asks you what haircut you'd like.
I have all your details from last time. Would you like the same haircut today?
Great already knows. With Clip Notes, we save your haircut details so you can get the same thing as last time, every time. Download our online check-in app today. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. State basketball has concluded, and here are your winners for girls and boys. For the girls, in Class A, number 2 Fremont won over number 5 Lincoln Southwest. In Class B, number 1 Elkhorn North won over number 2 Scott Catholic. In Class C1, number 1 Lincoln Lutheran just fell short against number 2 Northland Central, 31-35. For the boys, Miller North is your Class A champions after a win over number 2 Bellevue West, 67-57. In Class B, number 2 Roncalli Catholic won its championship over number 1 Scott Catholic, 52-37. In Class C1, Cale Jacobson from number 2 Ashland Greenwood continued his great tournament run. Ashland Greenwood took home the championship on a buzzer beater corner 3 by Evan Shepard, assisted by Cale Jacobson. They would win over Auburn, 36-33. In Class D2, number 6 Park 3 Christian won over number 1 St. Mary's in the title game. This has been your High School Minute, sponsored by Southeast Community College, with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford. Learn more today at southeast.edu.
There's not many things worse than having plumbing issues at your home or business, but it's even worse if the problem isn't fixed correctly. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time, and they specialize in several things: general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
You're listening to One-on-One with DP, sponsored by Beatrice Bakery on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What's the word?
I don't remember. It was a person that got gunned down in New York. It was like his last name or something. I don't know.
I still don't know what that is.
Amadou.
Amadou.
And then they got sued because they took it from somebody else's song.
Yeah, we don't know.
John Cena.
John Cena. He paid him. He's okay.
Probably.
He makes a lot of money. From the text line, said DP needs to play a clip from state basketball play-by-play for his guest. Scotty's heard me do play-by-play. He heard me when I was the voice of the American Basketball Association, the voice of the Continental Basketball Association. And Scotty, as a producer, heard tons of it. He heard me do tons of back when the Jazz had, so before Vegas.
The Jazz.
Before the NBA went to Vegas for the NBA Summer League, Salt Lake City was the host, the annual host for a 16-team NBA Summer League that was called the Rocky Mountain Review. And it's where
Sounds like a newspaper.
Carmelo made his debut. Kevin Durant made his debut there.
Those baggy
Steph made his debut. Yeah, Steph made his debut.
Oh, a little babyface Steph.
Yeah, so we would do these. We would do the games, radio calls and TV calls for these 16 teams over 2 weeks in Salt Lake City, and
That's a lot.
It's a lot of basketball. A lot of basketball they called, and then it moved to Vegas when Vegas opened up for it, and that's what they were doing. So yeah, Scotty's heard me do play-by-play. Scotty's really good.
He's heard your voice enough.
Oh yeah, he's sick of me. Like, but Scotty's a good dude. Like he was an intern for me when I was in there. Like he was producing. We had 4 sports stations in the building. Kind of imagine, conglomerate
buildings that normally happen.
Right. And we had country, we had top 40, we had rock and roll, we had classic rock, we had top 40, a little bit of everything. And then we had 4 sports stations. And he was producing in those other spaces. He was producing and for those other networks. Like he was running all the national ESPN shows that were going on. And I pulled him out. I'm like, first of all, you're too talented to be in this room sitting here by yourself just pushing buttons. This is crazy.
Push buttons, slides.
Yeah, I was like, no, you're too good for that. Let's get you out of here. And of course, he's blossomed and had quite the career. Like I would put his radio career up to anybody's. I mean, Scotty's been in the game for 30 years. Or 25 years, I think is what it's been officially. And very worthy. Like he's done the thing. So good dude. It is a busy day from a sports standpoint. Again, for Huskers, and matter of fact, the Huskers at national championships, that schedule of events, session 3 has begun in Detroit.
Wrestling.
Yeah, 4 Huskers advanced directly to the quarterfinals through wins. They won their first 2 matches, so they're in the quarterfinals. Once you're in the quarterfinals or in the top 8,
you're an All-American.
You're an All-American.
Yes.
So that will happen, and then once they get into the losers bracket, if they don't win all the way out, you've still got a chance. And then there are 4 other wrestlers who qualified for the tournament who are also there and have advanced. All 8 have advanced to the wrestle-in rounds. So the 4 that got beat have won to get.
Have made it back to almost make it back.
Right. So it's the wrestle back. That's literally what it's called. It's a big day for them. The Bowlers are in Nashville. Vanderbilt, which is a top 3 seed, is the host of said event, I believe.
The Commodores.
And that McKendree, which is number 1. This is a big week for bowling in Nashville. For the gymnasts, they are in Columbus, Ohio for the Big Ten championships. Big opportunities. And again, this will be the final meet for some of the folks. So that's big for them. Softball is on the road. Beach volleyball. They just left Hawaii, and I believe they go to California.
In Hawaii, is it on the beach or is it indoor on some sand? And this is just a question I have. If you go to Florida, California, Hawaii,
beach,
beautiful.
Their social media has been flooded with just
they've been on the beach
in the water.
Yeah,
it's just like, okay, we get it.
It's like, oh, cool. It's whatever degrees here.
Thanks.
Jerks.
But they're back next week. Again, the word I got for Sunday morning pancakes is that Wandale Robinson will be there. They will be back, and that the Wandale Robinson will be their guest. On Sunday, baseball, again, weather permitting, since it's been raining, maybe they can get Friday, Saturday, Sunday in for that. And, of course, they're fighting for the opportunity to get back to 500 and get above. So
they could do it.
There's that. And then what else am I forgetting? Oh, yeah, 2:30 today, Gonzaga. And
a little first round action.
Well, so how does that play out in your mind that we're going to be at Buffalo Wings and Rings?
It'll start during the middle of my show. Nick and I show. Sorry, he doesn't like when I say my show.
What is your show?
It's our show.
Yeah.
I say it's my show, but
it's his show too.
I guess I'll share.
It's his show. So what do they do? Because at the same time, Purdue will be playing. Villanova will be playing. Virginia Tech and Texas will be playing. How do you think the screen distribution will be handled?
You got to have at least one, it's different walls, not one TV, like different walls. You have to have at least one on each wall, with the Husker women's game. Because then you can have the others on the other.
5 of the bar, so you imagine 2 of the 5.
2, yeah. Because it's for the different angles, when people are sitting. So you have at least one with women's game and then, men's game on the side.
Is it all 5 or just 2 of the 5?
2 of the 5? Well, right above the bar, they have the 4, like kind of squared up, don't they?
Yeah.
So you have what I mean, if you want to do 2, you do like 2 corners and then you do 2 on the other games, or you can do one a different game on each TV.
I'm
I think that's what they did.
I'm slightly curious about that, though.
Look, you got to have at least one on each wall, at least.
Okay. What do you want to see? I mean, aside from a win, what do you want to see? Like, what if I said you can ask for 5 things that will guarantee that the Huskers win today? What are those 5 things?
What are those 5 things?
And be careful what you pick, because now this is what you're limited to.
Winning the rebounding battle.
Okay.
Getting to the free throw line. Oh, can I add something to that one?
Yeah.
Getting to the free throw line and shooting a high percent. I'm not saying make them all just shoot a high percent.
The correct number is 80.
Yeah,
80%. 80% is the correct answer.
80 seems about right. You don't have to make all of them. Just make more than you miss. Okay, so that's 2 things. Shoot over. Oh, what was it? Shoot over 46% from the field.
Okay.
Score over 65 points.
Okay.
And hold Gonzaga under 65 points. And I know those 2 are kind of like, well, of course you want to score more than that, but Gonzaga, I believe it was like 23-2 when they score over 65. So, yeah, those 5 things, I think that's pretty solid.
We would work from those. That honor your possessions, because I don't want turnovers. I don't want turnovers.
Limit turnovers.
So turnovers,
you can't eliminate them completely. Limit them.
Right, single-digit turnovers.
Yeah,
is what kind of where we would work.
Under 7.
We would shoot 50% from the field.
Okay.
45 from 3.
Whew. Blazing.
80 from free throw.
Okay.
Win the rebound. That's my 5.
That's your 5?
That's my 5.
Okay.
Right? Because if you do those things, you don't turn the ball over, you shoot 50, 45, and 80. And some people say 40, but I asked for
50, 40, 90. Go ahead.
Like I asked for well, because that's kind of the standard that we did what we were supposed to do. Win the rebounding, which is important. And then don't turn the ball over. Like those things are basic things that you can control, because you can go into space and take shorter shots. Now Gonzaga's long, physical, so shot blocks will matter, and shot alterations. But Nebraska can spread out Gonzaga into a 5-out and make their bigs defend on the wing, which takes away some of the friction at the rim. Right. They're not going to get from a closeout to from Markowski back into the paint and try to cut off Jazz Shelley in time.
It's not going to happen.
Like, that's not – Maryland is the only team that did it well. Gonzaga has some of that skill, but I'm not expecting them to show up in that number. I'll ask you this. Who needs to be the leading scorer today?
Can I have an or?
No. Because the outcome depends on this. The person who puts the ball in the basket the most for the Huskers. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be, and who do you want it to be?
Who's it going to be, and who do I want it to be?
Yeah, that could be different.
I think it's going to be Markowski.
Mm-hmm.
I want it to be. See, the thing is, like, I could say I want it to be Jazz, but she does so many things that affect the game outside of scoring that it doesn't matter if she's the leading scorer. I think I'd be okay with it being Markowski also. Although Izzy has shown, that's what I was going to say. It would be Markowski or Izzy. Like, if you get the bigs, one of the bigs to be your leading scorer.
If you get both of them, you're.
If you get both of them, it's fantastic. If you get one of them to be your leading scorer, either one, like that, I think you're having a good time because that means that you're scoring in the paint.
Who's the hero that we're not thinking about?
Sam Hybe.
You think it's Sam?
Yeah.
You think it would be Sam over Ani?
Yeah.
Or Bella?
Sam's gonna do something.
Okay.
At one point during the grind, obviously she's gonna do something. At one point during the game, you're gonna see it. She's going to take over.
See, I'm gonna say that Whitener has to play a factor. Like, she has to be important.
Who is on? I don't know who Gonzaga's best player is. If it's a big, then scratch that. But who is on Gonzaga's best player?
Izzy.
Izzy.
The most important player is Sam, but the one that will affect the game the most is Izzy, because she's got a tough matchup.
Mm-hmm.
She's got her and Bella will have their hands full. But I think that's kind of how it plays out. So I think it's going to be a fun day. Again, you folks, you should meet us down at Buffalo Wings Ring, 68th and O. We'll be there from 11 to 6. Rashawn Jackson will be there starting at 11 with Steve Taylor. Steve Taylor is going to go through the March Mayhem with him. So you guys can head down there, come and say hi, take pictures, have a good time. Feel free to buy Rico beverages after he's off air.
I ain't gonna say no.
After he's off air.
I will say no after a point because I got to drive home, but I'm not going to say no.
Come by, say hello. Be greatly appreciated. We'll tour the break. When we come back, we will close out one-on-one for the week and then head down to Buffalo Wings Ring, 68th and up.
Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. You're listening to One-on-One with DP on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Husker fans, don't miss your chance to get a first look at this year's Nebraska football team at Memorial Stadium. The annual Husker football red and white spring game is set for Saturday, April 9th at 1 p.m. Tickets are on sale now for only $10. To secure your tickets today or for more information, visit huskers.com/tickets or call 402-472-3111.
Yesterday, your water heater worked just fine. Today, surprise! When you're out of hot water, just call the plumbers at Bryant. In most cases, you can get same-day water heater replacement. What you won't get is a costly surprise with the bill. At Bryant, the price you're quoted is the price you'll pay. No last-minute extras for piping or ventilation alterations. Need a new water heater? Just call Bryant, 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Are you tired of lousy internet and faceless customer service? It's time to experience local, honest, hassle-free, and exceptional. That's the Allo promise. We not only provide crazy fast fiber internet, crystal clear TV, and dependable phone service, but we choose to become a part of the communities that we serve and love when everyone calls or stops by our store to say hello. So don't settle for mediocre, settle for exceptional with Allo. Visit us at allofiber.com/local.
The Home Builders Association of Lincoln and Bombers Garage are proud to sponsor this year's Cruisin' for the Trades car show on May 1st. It's the first major car show of the season, and they have 20 plus big trophies for muscle cars, old cars, classics, trucks and bikes, EVs, and anything in between. Register your car today at hbal.org and enter into as many categories as you wish for the show at SCC's campus at 88th and O. Proceeds from the event go to the Lincoln Home Builders Care Foundation to support careers in construction. Register today at hbal.org.
Southeast Community College has learning centers in Falls City, Hebron, Nebraska City, Plattsmouth, Wahoo, and York so that you can take credit and non-credit classes at a center nearby without having to travel an hour or more to campus. By taking online classes and those at a learning center, you can earn your degree from SCC where and when it's convenient for you, all at a cost that won't stand in the way of your education. Learn more about SCC's learning centers at southeast.edu/learning centers. SCC, your path to possible.
Hello, I'm Charlie Stone, back with the latest news from Honda of Lincoln. Joining me now is the general manager, Andy Goodyear. Hey, Andy, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Charlie.
Hey, Andy, with spring right around the corner, how is your supply of new Hondas and pre-owned vehicles?
Really good, Charlie. As I've said before, when you drive by our lot, you don't see what you're looking for, just remember we have hundreds of new Hondas arriving soon, with Honda continuing to offer 0.9% APR financing to qualified buyers. Plus, we have over 125 pre-owned vehicles in stock and ready for immediate delivery.
That's great, Andy. Any more great news?
There is, Charlie. Honda just announced financing from 0.99% APR on certified pre-owned Hondas for qualified buyers.
So come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Prescription opioids can be addictive and dangerous.
Opioid pain medication took everything that I had. Nothing mattered more than getting my fix. Knowing that it could have been prevented makes it worse. It just takes one.
Prescription opioids. It only takes a little to lose a lot. Developed by CDC.
Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services and aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.07 per hour and other select jobs starting at $23.77 per hour, with wages growing up to $29.71 per hour. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
You're listening to One-on-One with DP, brought to you by Beatrice Bakery on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Pump up the muscles. Paint your face.
Get the right colors.
Spray your hair. Find all the pieces of string to tie around your biceps.
Make them colorful as well.
Find the tightest shorts known to man.
You have them, don't lie.
Facts. All facts. Sprint to the ring.
Run as fast as you can.
Grab the ropes.
Get a good grip.
And shake them like a madman. That is the ultimate warrior. But you have to say it the way he say it.
Warriors. And that's how you get sent out into a Friday. That's
right.
A good one.
Right? Like that's how you leave a Friday. That's how you head into the weekend. But you have to raise your hands to the heavens and ask about the power of the warriors.
Dude, Wrestlers back in the day were so weird, but I love it.
Like
it was so awesome.
The text on Josh asked the question if I ever met Ultimate Warrior. Yeah, I have to tell you. They tell you not to meet your heroes.
Never do.
Right?
I will avoid meeting my heroes at all times, except for the time I met Wilhelm. It was a good time.
They tell you not to. I met him back when he was a part of a tag team with Sting. So when this was early. This was before he was Ultimate Warrior. But Hellwig was, to say that he might have been the ultimate weight head. I won't, see people call them meatheads.
Mm-hmm.
He was the ultimate weight head, that he was about his body. And to a point, because not everybody was built the way he was. Like nobody put in the work that he did. Like he and Sting were two, they were hanging out on beaches in San Diego and just working out like madmen. But he was the Dingo Warrior back then. He was the Dingo Warrior. And he and Sting, hung out and kind of built their own place and space. And he ultimately was a Midwest kid.
Yeah, he's from Omaha. Or not him.
Indiana.
Sting is.
He's from Indiana. Sting's from Omaha.
Sting's from Omaha.
But that was kind of why it was weird, because he and Sting were not surfer dudes.
No.
But they were Midwest dudes who were
Are you sure? The waves in Indiana and in Nebraska are pretty cool, pretty good.
Not quite the same.
Pretty solid.
Not quite the same. But he went to Indiana State University.
Okay, Larry Bird.
Yeah, he was part of that, big time bodybuilder type dude. He was very introspective. Like, he questioned himself a lot. And that was what drove him. It led to that thing that ambition, unfiltered ambition, can drive you crazy. And I was like, dude, you're big enough. Like, seriously. Like, you're big enough.
Never big enough.
And that was the thing, never big enough. So kind of the face of steroids in pro wrestling. He and Hogan, Lex Luger. Well, because it affected them out in real life. And
was Macho Man
definitely.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I just like, you see the size of the biceps on some of the guys back then, and there's no way they weren't.
Well, the thing with Warrior was that when he became the thing, like, he wasn't prepared to become the face of WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he just wasn't. Like, not when Hulk and Andre are still there.
No.
Macho Man, there's still Ricky Steamboat. No. Like, he wasn't prepared, and it was too much too soon. It was too much too soon, because then he didn't know how to do the business. Like, he didn't understand the contracts, the merchandising and merchandising, the marketing and merchandising that was being done for him. He was not prepared for, and did not know how to reap the benefit of.
Mm-hmm.
Even with music and WWF music, I mean, that licensing had value. So he was thrown into deep water with some real sharks, and just wasn't prepared for it. But that's the story of a bunch of this. And it affected him. Yeah, that when they went to trial, when Vince McMahon goes to trial, Warrior was the guy they threw under the bus more than Hogan. They threw him under the bus. And when he came back, because he left, because he thought he wasn't being paid enough.
Mm-hmm.
And when he left and came back, he had to do it without steroids. And the fans were like, well, wait a minute. What happened to the big blown up dude?
Mm-hmm.
Which was actually healthier for him, but it wasn't better for him professionally. Because before, he would run to the ring and, dude, he couldn't wrestle long matches because he was done. He was wiped out. Like, that sprint to the ring, I mean, imagine all that blood pumping.
Farther than you think it is.
It's farther than you think it is. And then the phrase they use is he's blown up. That when you run to the ring and you do your entrance and he shakes the ropes
and he's like jumping up on the turnbuckles.
Yeah, and he's all tied up, and your blood is just like, hey, yo, bro, and you got all this muscle that you need to get blood to.
The strings were tight.
Yeah, like there are things that were going on. So yeah, the stories behind the stories are there's a pretty good documentary on the Warrior that they did. Of course, with his wife, and now they have an award in his name. He went a little wonky after his career with appearances where he and some other wrestlers would get into it, and people make fun of his promos, which were just kind of all over the place and didn't really make sense. But a good dude, a good-hearted dude, probably more sensitive than you can imagine. Super sensitive. So that's not where we intended to go, but that's okay. We will head down to Buffalo Wings and Rings, 68th and O for March Mayhem. We'll be there till 6 o'clock. The Captain Show is up next with Steve Taylor. Taylor Made. He'll be down at Buffalo Wings and Rings. We'll be down there. Rico will be down there with Nick from 2 to 3. Hang out. Then you'll have Bach and Nate will be there while his Hokies are on. Come and give Nate some grief or come and give him support. Either way.
I cannot wait for that.
Either way.
How many people does Rashawn call out today?
Like 20.
Everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll see you down there.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody, have a great Friday. Oh, yeah. Go Big Red.